Good morning, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday morning, September 16th. We're looking at the SPY ETF's market profile here on Window Trader. And for the third day in a row, we're attempting to gap higher. Last 2 days, we've gapped higher and filled. Again, top of a 6-day balance. This is last week's high. ES has a poor high at the weekly high. I have a poor high from yesterday. I did not. Once again, what's been played before affects what happens next. Look what they did again. Forced it down. All shorts. They run it up late. And now this morning, we're back up here. Just briefly on that trade I took yesterday. I'm not unhappy what I did, right? Initially, I was looking for the short above the high, and then I took the long against, I thought, a pullback. The fact that I took that trade wasn't wrong. Where I was wrong is, even when we took out yesterday's low in C period and filled the gap, I don't have a problem being long or even adding, right? J's low, K's low. It was a very visual area. Once, however, L period broke those levels, it just started the onslaught of mindless algos and retail traders just attempting to push this down. And I can go back over the last 10, 15 days and show you that and how the majority of the time, the next day, they're absolutely wrong. They were wrong that last night because we traded all the way back up, right? The price probe right now, with just about an hour to go, an hour, 10 minutes. Right now, the price probe being firmly rejected. We had a small set of single prints. They're being filled. Remember, we were 9 for 9 wide. Again, just like a week or so ago, where we were 10 for 10 wide and flushed, and the next day we opened above it. Right now, same scenario. So I'm going to survive that trade. Nothing great. I certainly don't recommend it, especially once I took out J and K's low. I should have been out of it. However, I gave you the reasons I was in it with higher value. The indices were higher, 9 for 9, couldn't get pulled down. Just mindless shorts pushing it down. So those gave me the fortitude to hold on to some of those calls. Okay, so this morning, well, the price probe right now being rejected, the single prints being filled. I won't even use those. This 9 wide will right now, with an hour to go, be a downside destination. I will use yesterday's high, though, of 342.02. Okay, I'll use it on both sides. Then we have 342.53 afternoon rally high, 342.53 weekly high, 345.40 afternoon rally high from the 4th, and 347.83 daily high. For the downside, we'll use yesterday's high again of 342.02 in case we do gap higher. Now, our pre-market high right now is 342.92. So I forgot to mention that. That is above last week's high. Below yesterday's high, we'll then use the 9 wide POC, which is a downside now, 341.50. Then we have our pre-market low of 339.94. Yesterday's low of 339.02. And then you should have the other ones I gave you. Now, so there's going to be 2 game plans for this morning. One pre-Fed, one after the Fed. Pre-Fed, I have seen trend days, right? And 99% of them don't hold once 2 o'clock comes. I'm not saying we're going to have a trend day, but I have seen them. Now, if I'm not mistaken, last time the Fed spoke, I think there was actually a trend day that held going into their decision. So, right now, again, we're at a very visual level. The gap's not bad, but do I want to be a buyer right at last week's high? I do not right away, right? First off, I'm going to be selling the rest of those calls if we open up here. But then, regardless of that, what's the game plan? Do we not take out the weekly high, right? These algos have a very, very good history of not being the first ones to want to take out a very visual point. Well, if they don't take it out right away, then you might take a put play to see if the gap fills. If we take it out and come right back in, same thing. Remember, I gave you the balance rules yesterday. I think the best game plan for a gap of this size into a very visual area, right? Right now, we're 40 points above yesterday's high. We're right at a weekly high. There's no harm waiting. See if we take out the weekly high. See if we stretch it, right? The balance rules, if you get through that weekly high and keep going without looking back, I don't want to short it. But if you take it out, get a bit above it, and then fail and come back in, well, then again, you can take a short play to see if the gap fills and then eventually get back to POC. So I really don't want to be a buyer at the weekly high. And the lower we go, the gap will be too small. So a call play right now, I would be waiting. A put play only if it does what I just said. Again, I'll be live streaming all day, and you'll be getting these up-to-the-date trade ideas the entire day. And then quickly on the charts. So I'll just show the weekly and the daily. So the weekly, this is important. If we're able to take out last week's high, we're firmly in balance. We're one-time framing down now for 2 weeks. But if you take out last week's high, we're firmly in balance, and it'll be a 4-week balance. So that's very, very important for the bulls to accomplish. And on the daily, same thing, but a little different scenario. It's a 6-day balance. I'm sorry, 6-day balance. So it's a 6-day balance. They're trying to come out of it to the upside. Do they do that? Very possible they take it out, but the question is, what are they going to get out of it? The Fed makes their decision at 2. Are they really going to want to take out a weekly high and just run? For my money's worth, I don't think they do. So I'd be a little more careful being a buyer. Unless, of course, we have a trend day on the way up, then you can buy it. Now, just quickly, as far as the Fed day. You can trade every day. There's a million trades to have. There is no reason in the world to take a trade at 2 o'clock when they make their announcement. And more importantly, when his press conference starts at 2:30, which lasts a while. Who cares if you don't trade the rest of the afternoon? Maybe you wait till the press conference is over. What is it? Whether it's 3:30. Algos are going to be going wild, right? You see how particular they are to get very visual reference points and destinations. Well, when news comes out of that nature, especially if he says something that's not expected, they get all agitated and they're all over the place. It's not the money you make, it's the money you keep. Keep that in mind. Good luck trading today. Have a great day, and we'll recap at 4 p.m.